right, guys, welcome to the studio today. We have Stace Sanchez, owner of KICKPICS Martial Arts Photography and my personal photographer for my martial arts photo shoots. Welcome to the studio, Stace.
Pleasure to be here.
Glad you're here today.
Likewise.
That is pretty cool. So how long have you been in business for with KICKPICS?
I started as a hobby doing martial arts photography in 2001. And then in 2008, I stopped being a mortgage loan officer and opened up KICKPICS the business, because anytime I ever did really well in my mortgage business, I would then take a trip and do photos.
Yeah.
So in 2008, I decided to walk away from it, and
you just fell in love with the process, right? Like you're so talented. Your pictures are amazing, and the schools are so lucky to have you.
KICKPICS was a hub of kicking,
Yeah.
you know? So even today on my social media, I get people sending me, I have Face Kick Friday. So I'm always doing MMA fights that are regular martial arts where there's knockouts. So people are always sending me their stuff, and I love that they think about me.
Yeah.
Anytime they see a really, really cool kicking.
You have something really unique and special with KICKPICS, I think.
Yes,
it's
sir.
like it's a whole, it's its own community.
It is.
You know, you've got a great following, I think, and you have a loyal customer base.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're the go-to guy for that. I think it's amazing. And there is an art to that. There is definitely an art to that. I had no idea, like exactly, what goes into what you do. I had a whole new respect for fitness photo shoots,
right,
and just the photography and the photographer that puts their heart and soul into those shoots.
Right.
And you put just as much effort into making your client look good and feel good throughout that process as the client themselves is putting out for the lens, which I think that's just amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a lot of hard work. You really don't know what goes into something until you become a part of it.
Right.
And then it's like, holy smokes, like this is cool.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and it's worth, I think that you have good, reasonable rates. You know what I mean? For what you get for the product that I got out of the end of that. Yep. I was very happy with that. Boombox here, and you were like, let's throw some jams on. And you helped me guide through it, because I was also working through some anxiety at that time too. And it was a process for me to relax.
Right.
And then never having done a photo shoot, you just made it so easy and effortless, and it was cool. And
Good.
I appreciated
Good.
that. Yeah. And not to mention, I'm going to give credit to the photos and the photographer for carrying me through that competition to the top 1%.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
There you go.
I made it as a quarter finalist in the top 1%. It was pretty cool.
That's very, very cool.
I did not expect really to take that competition, because once I saw the competition in that, it was, those guys were like 4 times the size of me, but you know what I mean? I had photos that nobody else had.
Exactly.
So that was pretty cool.
Exactly. It was fun.
More than, you were like more than happy to let me incorporate those into the shoot. You have really good, you know exactly what you're doing, because I did not.
Yes, sir. I've been doing this for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it.
And it was cool, because when I shoot somebody for the very first time, like yourself, and to see your reaction when you saw a photo, I love that. That is, I mean, the income part is great, but there's so much that comes out of a photo shoot. So to see somebody that's never done it before, see how good you look, I love that. I love people's reactions.
Well, that was amazing. Number one, I'm not a person that's aware. It's very empowering to know people like that.
It is the martial arts community. I've always said it. I used to train when I was young, in my late teens, and so many people think that martial arts is just about the punching and the kicking, but there's so much more that goes into it. I'm a firm believer that every child should train in martial arts, because there's so much more that's being taught than just the physical aspect.
Oh, the discipline.
Absolutely.
The accountability.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's funny, because from my training, I've always had to refer to my instructor, my sensei, as yes, sir. Yes, sir. If it was female, no, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So anywhere I go, that's how I talk to people. It's just because it was so ingrained in my head.
Yep.
And even a young girl, a teenage girl, and I'm saying, yes, ma'am. She's like, I'm not a ma'am.
Right.
But you're so used to that. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's one of the biggest things that I love about martial arts is all that other stuff that you learn.
Absolutely.
Love going to a photo shoot, and maybe a lot of times the parents don't necessarily stay and watch their kids train. That happens a lot. You know, people are busy. So when the parent does come to the photo shoot and their kid just rocks out this beautiful kick or whatever, and they're at the computer and they're looking at their child's photos, to see their eyes just, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you were this good. And the kid, their face lights up.
Yeah.
The instructors, they're like, all right, I see what you can do for the camera. Now I want to see that in every class.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just, the whole thing is
It's
just
very revealing.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I
it's
love
a process.
I love it.
And at a age, it's like you see a photo and it's like that's your sales method right there. It's just your organic work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's to see the photos. A photo speaks 1,000 words.
Absolutely.
You know? And it does.
With social media coming in, best thing that ever happened, I'm sure, to most people. I had, when I started KickPICS online, it was 2001, and it was just this just awful website. But my uncles used to train in martial arts a long time ago, that was another inspiration. So my uncle had just stacks and stacks of martial arts magazines, and I would just flip through them while they're beating the mess out of each other. I just flip through them, and it was always the kicking photos that were just amazing. So those magazines were inspiration. I've experienced working with them, and I tell you what, some of those kids focus better than just your
Typical person. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And after the shoot, I'm like, you did so good. You know, any kid that's in front of me.
Yeah.
That I mean, you've seen me.
Oh yeah.
Even with your photos, I'm like, if a photo comes out really nice, it immediately comes over my face.
Oh, you can't hide it. You beam. Yes, you are not hiding your excitement.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. So when I do that with a kid, it just pumps them up, and I love that about martial arts. I really do.
Well, you can't contain your excitement.
No.
It's like it brings out another side of you that's so good. Like that, those feelings of empowerment are amazing. But it's like, you know, once you find a way to channel that energy, it's like, wow, then your mind is safe, your body's safe, everybody else is safe. You know, that's pretty special what you have with your business, because your business gets to photograph the people in that headspace. Right.
And it's cool because at the martial arts schools, when I do my photo shoots, you can get kids that are, I don't know exactly how each school's different in terms of what age they let students come in. But when you get that little tiny white belt that comes up and their uniform is way bigger than it should be.
Yeah.
But they're so tiny.
Yeah.
And they listen to everything you say. Man, I love that.
Yeah.
On the opposite side of that is you get somebody that's more mature. That's what I like to call us.
Yeah.
The more mature.
More
people.
experienced.
Yes. You get those people out there that are still training, that are still kicking high.
Yeah.
And again, my face lights up when I do that. And it's just amazing that you have such a wide spectrum of ages. And it's good for you.
Oh, dude, I love it.
There's I met a very well known and respected martial artist in New York. Had a photo shoot with him, and this is before I even was doing it as my job with the lights and everything. Met him saw him on the internet, and said, "Hey, my name's Stace. I do kicking photos. Here's some of my work." And we ended up doing a photo shoot with him in New York. He said, "So how much do I owe you?" I'm like, "Oh no, I just do this for fun." And he's like, no, let me pay you. And I'm like, you really don't have to. And he actually just gave me money.
Wow, cool.
And I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
You know? So he ended up getting they were going to do a story on them in a magazine, and they said we're going to send our photographer over, and he's like, nope, I have pictures already. I didn't even have professional stuff yet. I had a pretty decent digital camera.
Yeah.
And he used those. He insisted that he was going to use. I was like, this is so cool. So I got into a magazine.
That's awesome. Well, your
Yes.
dream came true.
It did.
Now